5, property, plant, and equipment are intangible items that are held for use in the production of supply of goods or services for rental to others or for administrative purposes and expected to be used during more than one period. Number 5 class is false, and we'll take this opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the definition of property, plant, and equipment. The main thing that makes number 5 false class is that it claims that property, plant, and equipment are intangible items. When in fact, class, one of the most important attribute of a property, plant, and equipment class is that the asset must be tangible class. It must be visible, it must have a physical structure, and is capable of being recognized or appreciated by the use of our senses. So very important class. PPE or property, plant, and equipment must be tangible assets. If an asset class possess the other elements of a PPE but such asset is not tangible, then it should not be classified as a property, plant, and equipment and should be classified as another asset. And more often than not, it should be classified as an intangible asset. So the use of the property, plant, and equipment account class is limited only to assets that are tangible. Now, another thing, class, that you must check before classifying a tangible asset as whether it is a property, plant, and equipment is with regard to its purpose, class. If its purpose is for use in the production, is for rental, or for administrative purposes, then that asset may be classified as a property, plant, and equipment. Comparing it to your inventories class, inventories are also tangible class, but the main purpose for holding an inventory class is for the sale of such goods or products. So it does not mean that since an asset is tangible, automatically it would be classified as a property, plant, and equipment. You must also check the purpose as to why the entity holds such asset. If the purpose is to use the asset in the production or delivery of goods and services, or if it is to be used for rental to others, or for some other administrative purpose class, whether it is used by the accounting department, HR department, or other administrative function class. Now, thirdly, for an asset to be classified as a property, plant, and equipment, the expected use of the asset class, the expected use of the asset must be for more than 1 year. So that is why some books would refer to your property, plant, and equipment as long-lived assets because for an asset to qualify as a PPE, its expected period of use must go beyond 1 year. So to recap, class, the definition of a property, plant, and equipment class composed of three important parts, class. The first is that a property, plant, and equipment must be tangible asset. Second is that its intended use must be for use in the production or supply of goods or services for rental to others or for some administrative purpose. If the purpose is to sell, then definitely it is not a property, plant, and equipment. If the purpose is for capital appreciation, then it would not qualify as a PPE and would instead be considered as an investment property, which is governed by another standard, governed by PAS 40. And third is that the expected use of the asset must be for a period longer than 1 year. Even if the asset is tangible, class, even if the asset is expected to be used in production for rental or for administrative purposes, if its expected useful life is only 1 year or less, class, then it should not be reported as a property, plant, and equipment. If it's only for less than 1 year, class, then it can just be reported as part of your supplies. Now, before proceeding to the next number, class, since we have covered the definition of property, plant, and equipment, one of the important things that students should include in their stock knowledge as regards property, plant, and equipment class would be the classification in the statement of financial position. No doubt that your property, plant, and equipment being an asset should be reported in your statement of financial position. The question that we will have would be, how is it classified in your statement of financial position if the entity uses the current and non-current classification? So you just go back to the definition of current assets class and you check whether the definition of PPE is compatible with the definition of a current asset. Number one, a current asset is cash. Definitely PPE is not cash. Second is that it is held primarily for trading. Still no, because again, we said earlier that the purpose of your PPE must be for use in the production, for rental, or for some administrative purpose. Third and fourth, it is expected to be used, consumed, utilized, or realized within 12 months or the normal operating cycle, whichever is longer. With that, we can say that PPE does not pass that test because we have established earlier that property, plant, and equipment must have an expected useful life of more than 1 year. So its expected consumption or realization is not within 1 year or the normal operating cycle. So to answer our question, if you will be asked, how should property, plant, and equipment be classified? Our answer would be PPE is to be classified as a non-current asset. Now, one way of making students confuse class is by asking them the classification of an item of property, plant, and equipment on its last year. What do I mean? At the beginning class, the PPE had a useful life of 10 years. So it passes the useful life test. Then the question will ask you, on the 10th year, on the final year in which the asset will be used, how will the PPE be classified? And your answer class would still be non-current asset. Even though at that point its remaining useful life is 1 year only, but understand that at the very beginning class, its expected use was more than 1 year. You do not look at the remaining useful life class, you look at the original expected life class. You look at the original expected useful life. So again, do not forget, a PPE must be a tangible asset. It must be used for production of goods or delivery of services or for rentals or for administrative purposes. And its expected useful life must be for more than 1 year.